Hey everybody, Beer Leaguer here with another Beer Leaguer Shorts episode. This is just going to be a quick episode talking about playoffs. It's the time of the year when a lot of beer leagues are in playoffs or getting ready to get into playoffs, and I just wanted to bring up a few things that I know I think of when it gets to be close to playoff time. Number one, know how playoffs works for your league. Know who's eligible, how teams are picked, if ranking matters, if there is anything like that, and find out how that is and see if that stuff matters. Some leagues just don't have playoffs, they have regular season, that's it. Some leagues have everybody makes the playoffs. Other leagues have certain teams out of, if you have multiple divisions or one division, a certain number of teams make those, and maybe they play other divisions, maybe they stay in one division. Find that stuff out before the playoffs start, just so you have an idea of what's going on. And if standings are close, find out about tiebreakers. Sometimes tiebreakers get down to, team plus minus or goals for, goals against, or something like that. So what might seem like a completely innocuous empty net goal at the end of the game could be the difference between, being a number 1 seed, being a number 2 seed, which, again, might make a difference, might not make a difference. Find this stuff out. And if you do make playoffs, there are playoffs for your league, find out about playoff formatting. Find out how that works. Is it you lose, you're out? Is it you lose, you play like a best of 3 series? Or is it just one single best of 5 series and that's it? Or do you play everybody in the playoffs and the first team to lose X number of games is out? Find this stuff out so you're aware of what's going on. And also so your team knows. If it's a playoff format where you lose and you're out, and your team is thinking, oh, that's, I'm just going to kind of miss some games here and there because it's getting to be summertime, and, maybe kids are getting on vacation or whatever like that. But, you're going to have one game where you're going to be losing half your team because people are out. Find that out. Find that out beforehand. See if it matters. Find out how much that stuff matters before those games start and see if you can do anything about that. So find out that format for it. Find out if the game format changes at all. I know in the league that I'm in, the overtime format completely gets changed. During the regular season, it is 5 minutes of continuous time for the overtime, and that's it, ends in a tie. Whereas in the playoffs, we go to a 5-minute stop time overtime, and then we add a shootout element. And we have to have shootout lineups ready, to hand in when we hand in our rosters to start the game. And there's a whole orientation for how shootouts work. Find that stuff out and know it. Don't always count on the people that are running your game or the referees to know all these things, because more than likely they are doing the same sort of job for multiple leagues, and they're probably all different. I know around here where I'm at, my league, most of the people that do the reffing and a number of the people that do the scorekeeping, which is kind of the game managers there that handle this stuff, they're doing my league. They're also usually doing some of the independent leagues that are at an individual rink. They're also usually doing a lot of the various kids and high school and stuff leagues, which are handled differently, and probably USA Hockey. And all those things run things differently. So don't count on them always knowing how all this stuff works right off the rip. So if you know, that's even better. So find this stuff out, before playoffs start, so you're aware and you can be ready for it and not be caught off guard for anything. Use that information to decide if you're going to change anything around your team for how anything is done. Are you a team that just normally rolls through, your 1, 2, or 3 lines, or 1, 2, or 3 defense pairs during a game? When it gets to be playoffs, do you do the same thing? Or do you try and, change it up a little bit? If it's close, do you change it? Do you normally have different teams for power play and for penalty kill, or not? Now, this is stuff I wouldn't necessarily try and implement all of a sudden for the playoffs. If you're a team that just kind of plays, you roll through 2 lines of forwards, you roll through 4D, and everybody just kind of goes through and there's no specialty team lines or anything like that. And then playoff time comes up and you go, hey, we're going to do a power play 1, a power play 2, penalty kill 1, penalty kill 2. Power play 1 is going to do this kind of play. Power play 2 is going to do this. Penalty kill 1's doing this. That's probably not going to work. More than likely, it's not going to work. Maybe if you're a very high-level beer league team and people are used to that, which, if that's the case, I don't know why you're taking advice from me. But more than likely, trying to change stuff up that dramatically is not going to work. It's more along the lines of, hey, at the end of the game, do you try and, put out maybe not a normal line? Maybe you go, hey, we need a goal. Let's put out our 5 best goal scorers. Or we need a stop. Let's put out 5 best defensive players. Or, do we pull the goalie when we normally wouldn't, or vice versa? Things like that. Stuff like that to think of before it happens. So that way you're not at the end of a game and, it's, hey, a one and done playoff scenario, you're down by 1, there's 2 minutes to go, you take a timeout to try and figure stuff out, and this is the first time you're thinking of it. That's definitely not a great scenario to have. So think about these things, think about them, bring them up to your team, whoever's in charge of this stuff, and say, hey, do we know what we're doing for these things? Just to put it in the back of their head so they're aware of this stuff. And again, you just want to be caught by surprise, especially in the playoffs. Other than that, have fun with it. It's the playoffs. Don't take it way too seriously. Don't get too crazy with it. Don't overthink it too much. Try and enjoy it as much as you can. That's why I say think about stuff beforehand. So that way during the game, maybe you don't have to think about it as much, if at all. So that way you can just enjoy playing the game. I would love to hear how your league handles playoffs, what you do for playoffs, how it's different than your regular season. I'd love to hear some stuff about that, some stories if you have anything. Let me know. Shoot them my way. You can find all the different ways to contact me, plus all old episodes, everything you need to know. All that stuff's available at thebeerleaguer.com. So thanks a lot for listening. I'll see you next time.